Peyton Jaron Spitzer.
My name is Peyton Jaron Spitzer, Peyton Jaron Spitzer.
Alright, so thank you for coming here. So the first question is, how has COVID-19 affected your life?
You know, COVID has affected my life very significantly. I honestly wouldn't be living where I live now if it wasn't for COVID. I've, been I haven't been let go of my job, but I'm on leave from my job because, the theater, it's not really the best place to be during COVID, so they've had to close down a lot over the past year. So, yeah.
And how do you think your life would be different if COVID didn't happen?
I don't know how different my life would be in terms of positive or negatively, because what was I gonna say? This is why I wanted to read questions beforehand. Say the question again.
So how do you think your life would be different if COVID didn't happen?
Well, there would definitely be some vacations that I would have gone on if COVID didn't exist. I would have gone to Disney World a couple times. That would have been awesome. I would have gone on a cruise. And then there was some, There were some conventions that I would have gone on during the summer and the spring and even the fall as well, but they were all canceled because of COVID, so.
Okay. Do you think that there's a silver lining specific to your experience with COVID?
How do you mean?
Do you know what a silver lining is?
A little bit, but I'd like you to...
Something good that came out of all the bad stuff about COVID.
Yes.
Specific to your situation and what happened to you.
Definitely my living situation, because obviously I'm in college now, and the college I go to, Columbia, they announced that there'd be no visitation for the dorms, and that's when me and my friends found out, that sucks. Let's find our own apartment in the city, and that's what we ultimately did.
And back in February and March of last year, what happened that made you realize that this virus was going to be serious?
Oh, I found out that COVID was a big, serious deal on March 10th.
What was March 10th?
On March 10th, me and the whole Beacon group that goes to STN, we went to DC for the competition, and right when we got there, it was canceled for COVID. Everything was shutting down, and then every TV had news segments about how COVID was ruining the world, and that's when everyone saw and thought, oh geez, we're here for a long time. That's not good. Yeah.
Were there any Beacon projects that you were going to do that didn't happen due to COVID?
In the case of Beacon projects, nothing really changed. It was ultimately how I went about the projects that were different. For my final project, I would have done some shooting locations in Chicago, but because that was a hot spot for COVID, I decided to not shoot there. I decided to shoot some things in my garage alternately.
And I know that you kind of answered this in a different question before, but I kind of didn't expect you to. But I had this question: what is the biggest thing that you were looking forward to in 2020? At least maybe at the end of 2019 that you were looking forward to that COVID took away from you?
That's a good question. Definitely the biggest thing that COVID took away from me was all the experiences in general. I was supposed to go to the MMEA Awards back in it was March or April, something like that. I was supposed to go to the All-American High School Film Festival in October. That would have been fun. But COVID got in the way.
So now onto the less important trivial stuff. When was the last time you saw the movie?
Well, there's two different answers. If we're talking about the last movie I saw before the pandemic, that would be The Invisible Man. That was the last movie I saw in the theaters before the pandemic. And then during the pandemic, I've seen one movie in theaters, and it was the 40th anniversary release of The Empire Strikes Back.
when was the last time you were in a full capacity restaurant?
You know, that's it's funny that you asked that question if I've been in a full capacity restaurant. There is this one place a couple blocks away from my apartment called White Palace Grill. My friend Raph and I went to go dine there, and it was packed. There was hardly any open spots, and we were thinking this cannot be up to code. So I don't know what they were doing there. I don't know if it was illegal or not, but we didn't care.
Saying that on camera.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being honest.
I was asking like before everything shut down.
Oh, before everything? The last time? Okay, so the last time I was in a full capacity restaurant was Culver's. It was Culver's in Wisconsin. It was right after COVID hit and shut down Illinois. Me and my friends Jack and Roth, we decided to go up to Wisconsin for a few days to my friend's cabin. And then we stopped at Culver's in Wisconsin because they didn't close down the state yet, so.
And is there anything that you did in quarantine that was unique, like as in something that was different from watching Netflix and baking bread as everyone seemed to do back in March, April, and May?
Oh, I doubt anyone moved during the pandemic. I mean, I moved from Elgin to Chicago. I mean, albeit it was for college, but hey, I moved almost all of my belongings. So.
Well, the question was more of like in March, April, and May when everyone was staying home.
Ah, okay.
What did you do to entertain yourself that was maybe unique from just watching Netflix?
So during the first few months of the pandemic,
what is the funniest thing that you've heard someone say on Zoom when they reviewed it?
you know,
Okay, this is regarding the first question. The one is, did you do anything that was unique? So in the early days of quarantine, me and my friends decided to continue our show, The Current. We did it all remotely, and it was really fun to, keep the show going in a new format, and it really just made the time go by in the early months. So the funniest thing I've heard on Zoom is kind of something that I might have said on accident. During a Zoom class, I had a Discord chat in the other tab, and so we were talking about Star Wars and saying which Star Wars movie was like the worst or something, and I unmuted and said, "Oh, Episode 2 is the worst Star Wars movie." I kind of unmuted the Zoom and not the Discord. So 120 people in the Discord or in the Zoom heard me. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. That was an awkward moment. So in regards to college being on Zoom most of the time, I have to wake up super early for class and everything. You know that. So I've decided I'm not gonna wake up. Oh geez. I decided I'm not going to wake up to stay in class the entire time, so I decided to create a recording of me looking at a Zoom or looking at a camera and just... No, I'm going to start over. So college is mostly on Zoom right now, and I don't really want to get up and show my face on my camera, in class. So what I've decided is I have created a recording of me looking interested during class and just let the recording go. So I just made it look like that I was in class when really I was sleeping in my bed. College is definitely not what I was expecting. I mean, that's really because of COVID. Because, almost everything is online and social distance, and it's just not exactly what It's not really what I signed up for, but, I'm fine with it. I don't expect things to be way out of hand next semester, so I feel like everything will be fine before we get to that.
And do you think that you'll be able to bring those ideas from Beacon that COVID didn't let you do last year and bring them to your project in college?
I've been thinking about that myself. I'm thinking of kind of re-editing and retooling my final Beacon video.
All Good Things one?
Yes, All Good Things. I've been thinking of reshooting some of the shots that I was originally intending. There's gonna be some shots where I was in the city, and I really want to get those shots because shooting in the city is pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet. Been there many times. And final question: if you could go back in time 1 year to March 2020 and tell your past self one thing, what would it be?
If I had to tell my past self, the March 2020 self, oh man, I tell him, COVID ain't gonna be 2 weeks. I'll let you know that. I'll let you know there'll be many ups and many downs. But you'll still end up safe and sound. Even though you will get COVID in early January, you should be fine.
And, well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to do this interview. I really had a great time talking to you.
Thank you, Lucian. I appreciate that.